A unique podcast taking a look behind the curtain of a contemporary culture scene with the artists, icons, and people working in the creative industry. What does their artistic process looks like and in terms of the current situation? All that and more in a moment.
Hello, guys, and welcome to our podcast channel ThermoStat Q. Today's episode will have Berlin's techno vibe, and because of our guest is very talented techno producer Skylan. Skylan is creator of his own style in Berlin techno community. He was born and raised in Poland, and now his creative approach grown in Berlin. His music is full of hard sounds and specific style, which he proved in his last EP, Extreme Penetration 1. But I'm so excited because Sky is working on his new EP, Orpheus, which is coming out this Friday, the fourth track of this EP. So how do you feel about your upcoming EP, Orpheus?
Oh my god, I'm a little bit excited, like very excited actually, because it's almost a year after finishing my first one. This one was like a rebirth, I would say, because after EP1 I was super lost, and even like to this point where I was like, oh, so will I ever make music again, So I was feeling super empty. But yeah, like I actually wanted to be like more pop, when I started working on Orpheus, and then it turned out like very very heavy and dark and aggressive, So but I'm super excited about it, and I really hope that the people will love it.
I love it right now, so for sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, already heard the whole thing, right? Before everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was so special. I mean, I felt really VIP. So, yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Actually,
anytime.
Growing up in Germany, how did you first get in touch with electronic music?
Actually, I grew up in Germany, but I was born in Poland.
Yeah.
And my parents used to listen to trance music, and to Eurodance. So actually, like electronic music was a big part of me growing up,
Yeah.
And it's still in me until this day, and I still love the old tracks, the old vibe, So that was like the first contact. And then
No,
Go
it's
for it.
okay. I just want to say that I wish I can be there that time.
in the good old times. Yes, imagine. I think it was like we probably can't even imagine, how cool
Yeah.
it was, like the raves in Berlin, the Love Parade. So we missed that out, but now is now,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, future is ours, so yeah,
Yes,
we
definitely.
can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I know you're part of a queer community.
Yes.
Has this experience influenced your music production in some way? And if so, how?
I would say definitely, because when you move to Berlin as a young gay guy, everything is so exciting and so overwhelming, And then I went out for the first time, to queer parties, like the fetish parties and stuff like that, And I was shook, but like also very intrigued. And yeah, it's definitely in my music, because like the party scene in Berlin is so diverse, in so many ways. It can be colorful, it can be funny, hedonistic, also very sexual, but sometimes even very intimidating and very dark, So now after a few years, I would say like definitely I try to take this vibe, and put it into my production. So yeah, for sure, it's a big part of it.
Yeah. I mean, how long you're in Berlin?
I moved to Berlin 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a long time, I
Well,
think.
yeah, so yeah, but also no,
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it never stops surprising you.
Yeah, for sure. Berlin is a big city, so it's a lot full of surprise, I think.
That's true. That's true.
I just visited it for a while when I was on Erasmus.
Oh, really?
In Poland, yeah,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
And in Zielona Góra, so it's pretty close
Zielona Góra,
by.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
My
by
dad
train,
lives
yeah.
there actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's so insane. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 'cause we were there on the university because they had some like really close program which I'm studying here in Slovakia. So we did it and with my few friends, and we were like, we can do some trip to Berlin because it's so close. So we did it, and
Of
it was
course.
very nice. Yeah, actually, I
Amazing.
was on a concert there. That's why I visited Berlin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
it's pretty nice. Actually, and Zielona Góra is really nice city. It's small, but it's
I don't even remember. Like I've been there like 1 million years ago.
really
So
Okay.
yeah. It's a very long time.
yeah. Actually, they have their which is very funny, but they have their restaurant, which is like Czech restaurant. And
Really?
they're cooking like the Czech traditional food there, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
have a traditional
Czech food is
beer.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was kind of surprised because it's a small city, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just I'm sorry, back to the
No,
back to the podcast and music and everything.
Yes.
So
A little trip to the past.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was working with music something you always dream of doing in your life?
Actually, maybe it will sound a little bit cliche, but when I was a little boy, I was always putting on a show for my parents, or for their friends. I was like performing with my cousin, singing and dancing. And then when I went to school, I had my own band. We were like songwriting and playing piano and stuff like that. But actually, when I got older, it was like, I don't know, like I put it away in a way, if you know what I mean, because I was like, okay, so you're never going to be a musician, but now, I mean, out of nowhere, suddenly I'm working in music, so everything is possible and everything can happen. So yeah, and like it definitely was a big dream, of a little boy, and now it's definitely different than I imagined,
Yeah. From piano to techno.
From piano to techno, but yeah, it was always a big dream of mine, for sure.
It's great that as a child you are not really thinking about things like what I'm going to be, you're just doing because you love it, that's amazing. Just growing like, okay, playing piano,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
songwriting, because
Exactly.
it's fun, and after that, like, you realize that, okay, maybe that will be nice to do music like later, like in the future, when you are like growing up and you're a teenager. But yeah.
Yeah, but the society tells you that it's impossible, it's just stupid,
Always, yeah.
always like you can do that, you can't do that. So, but yeah, we can. So everything is possible. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. How did you get to music production in the first place?
When I started studying in Berlin 6 years ago, I had many friends who were producing, like experimenting. I've been always watching them, from the side, and I was like, oh wow, this is like so exciting, like, but it's also so complex, but also like the music production software is like a blank canvas, you can do everything, and I was so intrigued because I thought like, wow, I can explore this huge field, even if it's like intimidating, and I definitely didn't know what I'm doing. I just downloaded my first DAW, and then I started making music and producing. And in the beginning it was terrible, and weird, and I didn't understand anything. So I had to teach everything to myself, and it was a long process. So I've come a long way until now.
Yeah. How do you feel about your old projects sometimes when you're like reopening, and you're like,
Oh my god. Yeah, like, at a certain point I actually stopped doing it.
okay.
Because actually, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, I like to go back,
Yeah.
and listen to the old stuff, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, like this was really good, or like how did I do it, like because back then I actually didn't know what I'm doing, and I was just improvising and trying stuff out, and then today is like more controlled, definitely. Yeah, it's nice. It's like a travel to the past in a way. So it's nice, but then there was like plenty of really bad stuff in there.
Yeah,
so,
understand.
so obviously,
Yeah, sometimes I also like, how did I, how did I
Yeah.
did it? Like it was
Yeah.
just, it was just like accidentally, like the happy accident in project,
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it sounds amazing, but I have no idea how I did it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I couldn't recreate it if I wanted to.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
you can watch the plugins and everything. When you're like, what's
Yeah, but
the plugin? Like, I don't know
Yeah,
it.
what's the plugin? What's the effect chain? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Where do you get the ideas for your new music?
Well, like I think inspiration can be everywhere. Well, it is for me. For example, a night out with my friends, or just like sitting around with my friends drinking, talking, can inspire me. Sometimes only like just one sentence or like funny words together, and I'm like, oh, that could be like a fun song title, and then like the creative process in my head starts, and then I sit down and I try to recreate it or like work on the idea, so it can be everywhere. And sometimes, like, for example, if I don't feel well, like mentally, when I'm not in a good place, I tend to produce my best work, sometimes like the best work comes from a very dark place. So yeah, it can be everything. It can be a conversation, an emotion, so it can be everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Billie Eilish got famous.
Yeah,
Because
basically.
of her depression.
Yes. I hope that
Yeah,
I will get
that's
famous
true.
because of my depression.
Do you have some music genre musicians or artists that inspire you?
Definitely, but like more than like people or bands, I feel super inspired by people who actually have like a fresh vision, or like innovative approach to making music. Or for example, like a nice visual concept, so I think there are like many very interesting artists
Yeah.
in the underground, and not only techno, like also in pop music, there's so many fantastic people out there. But yeah, like I could tell you, I don't know, like Britney Spears has inspired me for a track, or Rammstein inspired me for a track. So yeah, basically my my genre field is super wide, and I'm always actually looking for something new, that actually can surprise me, and unfortunately it doesn't happen that often anymore. I'm getting old, I guess. That's why I started making music, to surprise myself, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Who can you surprise the best? Only you.
Only me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm afraid of my creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, what could we find in your playlist right now? Speaking of inspiring.
Well, could you find? You could find Seftalisa, for example. Like, she's an amazing artist from the Netherlands, I guess. Or you can find Tattoo. Like
Wow.
yeah, you
That's
can find.
cool.
It is always.
Actually, are they are releasing music right now or not?
No,
No,
I think
they
they hate
just-
each other. They hate each other. Yeah. But,
I
like,
don't know the
music
story.
No, I think like, oh my god, it was a mess. But like, actually, the people behind the project, the musicians and the producer, were amazing. And and when you get back to it, it still sounds so fresh, and so cool, and but also super nostalgic. So I really love to go back to the music I I was listening to when I was a kid, because I always managed to find something new, you know. But yeah, I also actually mostly listen to sets or like podcasts, you know, on I don't know, like LSD makes amazing stuff, Brutalismus make amazing stuff. So yeah,
For sure.
that's what you would find.
Yeah.
And Britney Spears, of course.
For sure. She's
Of course.
always there. She will be always there. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
free
Britney.
Britney.
Free
Yeah.
Britney.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned Brutalismus. You were working with them.
Yeah.
So could you tell us about how you guys met and started to collaborate?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's actually it's a simple little story, because I met Theo, I think like a few months after I moved to Berlin. I think he moved to Berlin around the same time, and he was a good friend of my flatmate back in the day, and that's how we met, actually, you know, in her room, and we were like drinking beer together, you know, and then with time we became amazing friends, you know, and then Theo and Vicky started Brutalismus, you know, and yeah, and it was like a amazing creative exchange, you know, like his creativity and my technical abilities and skills, you know. We try to combine it, you know. Like I've been working with them on their first two EPs, you know. I've been doing the mixing and then the mastering work on them. So yeah, we were growing as artists together. So yeah, and we're very
really
close friends.
Really great story. I mean, it's really natural and life. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Actually, your debut EP, Extreme Penetration 1, I want to speak about it a little. How did you come up with the idea for the EP, and what's the concept of the music production?
I released, I think, like 3 singles, you know, and then I was like, okay, so maybe it's time for like a whole body of work, you know. And then the process began, you know, and it took a while. At this time, I was super obsessed with like analog gear, you know, and analog sound. So everything had to be analog, and also I wanted to sound vintage, not only when it comes to the gear, but like also to the sounds, you know. I wanted to Eurodance feel, but like darker and like more twisted, you know. And that's how it came together, actually. And I wanted to be ironic, and I wanted to be like not so serious, you know, because like the whole techno scene tends to be very serious, at least at this time, you know. When I started doing it, everything was black, yeah, and I wanted to be funny in a way, but also sexual, you know. Like I like to play with contrasts, you know. And then yeah, I thought like how will I call it? And I thought like, okay, EP, so maybe like Extreme Penetration 1, you know, like it made sense at this point.
I really love it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the story.
Yeah. Okay. I will ask you a few questions about your upcoming EP, because today is going out your 4th track, which is amazing and we are excited about. So can you tell us about your new EP? Something like how was the production, and when did you start? How long it takes, you know, to actually finish it?
I think the process was a little bit quicker this time than with the last one, because like the biggest issue with with the last one was that I actually wasn't able to finish it, because I was never happy with it, you know. Yeah, so I've been watching, I think it was like a Netflix series or something, you know, and there was like a story about Orpheus, and the story was how he went down to the underworld to save the love of his life, you know, and then he made a deal with Hades, with the god of the underworld, and I was like, oh yeah, that's such a nice visual, you know, like it instantly gave me like many different ideas. I was like, so yeah, let's do something dramatic. And then I started also like experiment with like orchestra sounds, you know, like you heard it in the single I actually released last week. It's called Faggots in the Club, and I was experimenting with orchestra, like classical elements in the track, and I think it was the first track I made for Orpheus, and then everything else came together. I wanted to be like a journey. That's why it sounds like many genres, but it's still, I think, a whole thing, and everything fits together, and every track transports you into a different mood. So yeah.
Actually, the last one, I thought that means like brass in the club. I didn't know that it's a very, very like bad word because I didn't know it. Yeah. Now I know.
It's a bad
Now
word.
I know.
Yeah, it's a bad. No. Well, it's we can say it, obviously, so it's okay for us to say it. No, it's actually it's not meant as a bad word at all. It's like an empowering word for gay
Okay.
guys. So we can say it.
Actually. Actually, Christian explained me like for you and in your community is okay, and like you're using it, but I was like, cause in my language, but I don't know why I thought that way. We have bassoon, like is an instrument of the brass section,
Okay.
called fagot.
Fagot. Yeah.
So,
That's so
for
funny.
me it was like I imagine like whole brass section in Berghain inside. And I was like, it's a kind of funny concept.
Well,
I like to have a brass orchestra inside of the techno club and a DJ. So I was like,
Well,
maybe this is really good. Like I really appreciate it. And after that, Christian was like asking me if it's okay to put that word like on Instagram because of the. And I was like, why?
It's not actually. I
yeah,
got shadow banned
yeah,
for it.
and I was like, why?
Yeah.
It's an instrument. And he was like, no, it's not.
That's so funny.
It's very bad word. And I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So
Okay. Now you know.
now I
the
know,
more
and
you know.
I will not use it. So yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, I think like it's okay to be provocative at some times.
I mean,
a little
I
bit, at
absolutely
least.
agree with you, but it was kind of funny. I was thinking that way, and after that, I realized that it's different. Like it's my it's in my language, and it's in Slovak language.
No, it's in German. In German, it's also Fagot.
Oh, okay.
In German, it's also Fagot. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but
Yeah,
in
it's the
English
same.
it's bassoon, so that's why I was like, why
Bassoon, yeah.
I thought that way,
That's so
yeah,
funny.
but maybe it will be a new concept of the new track to have a brass section
Maybe.
in a techno track. So
Maybe
yeah.
actually, I think like in the classical part of the song, there actually are faggots. I mean, like fagots, or like brasses. So
Yeah.
so they're in there for sure.
Okay, that's cool. Because
Yeah,
I was
so,
when I was listening it, I was trying to find them in
no,
musically.
Well, they're in the club,
yeah,
So.
yeah, definitely.
That's so funny.
Actually, okay. Back to the questions.
Back to the question.
What
yeah.
was the biggest challenge with this EP production wise?
I would say like I wanted to sound more polished, and more mature, in comparison to Extreme Penetration 1. So yeah, I was doing a lot of research because also I've been using different tools, different synths, like different plugins, and also the genres that are actually in there sound different, than Extreme Penetration 1, because like, there's like I had like many assets, bass lines in the old EP, like this EP has like more rolling kick elements. So yeah, so basically it was a little bit different when it comes to mixing. So yeah, I would say that was like the biggest, and also actually to find time to finish it, because I've been working so much on my other projects, and also like in my actual job, because I work in advertisement, and it can be difficult, to find the time to actually be able to finish your work, and bring it to an end, because like just because you finish a track, it doesn't mean that like the whole concept is done. You have to do a shoot, you have to mix it, you have to master it, so like think about the promo and stuff. So yeah, like that was the hardest part, I guess.
But it's coming out, so it's amazing.
Yes,
it's finally
yes.
the
It's coming.
the end of like the best part.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Actually, what program do you use for music production? And
I am a Ableton user.
do you have some favorite tools or plugins like during your music production process?
Yeah, I use Serum a lot as it's actually my main synth. Addictive Drums, also the Pro Q, FabFilter Pro Q is my goal. And I use Isotope for mastering.
Okay, and what comes first, melody or beat?
I would say it's different every time. Sometimes I just start with like a bunch of weird noises and sounds, and I put effects on it or like a distortion, and then I go from there. Often the melody. So I don't know. It's like really it's different every time I start producing. It depends on my state of mind.
And do you have some habits in your workflow or during the process of production that you now follow?
Well, what I'm not doing anymore is like starting to mix until the beat or like the idea isn't finished, So because then you lose the vision, and the focus on the idea when you start mixing, because I want it to be louder, I want it to sound better, so I start like working on a different sound. So I stopped doing that because it used to ruin my ideas, or ruin projects or like tracks that could be very cool, but then I wasn't able to finish them, because maybe it sounded good, but it wasn't finished, and like the inspiration was over. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you been thinking about some collaborations in the near future?
Actually, I would love to collaborate with someone, that has a similar vision to mine, or like maybe it's like very, very different, in his or her production. So I'm super open-minded anytime. So if you're down, just hit me up.
Yeah, just need to click between you and that person, and
exactly.
that's a great thing. Actually, I want to ask you about the photo shooting you did for Orpheus, because it's very interesting, and you are the Orpheus on the picture.
No, actually I'm Hades.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and the model is Orpheus, and he's begging me, to release his girlfriend, and I'm like, oh, maybe or maybe not,
Yeah, you had that attitude on the picture.
So yeah, I wanted to recreate like a very mythological picture, but make it future and like very clean and abstract, and like I wanted like the two styles to clash in a way, because as I already said, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Like the photographer is a very good friend of mine, and he did an amazing job on that.
For sure, and you too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, what do you think makes a good song?
I think there's nothing wrong with a catchy song, like a song can be simple, and just catch your attention, and then you inhale it, like you listen to it time after time, all day long, and then the next day you actually cannot listen to it anymore, but still like it was a good song for a day, but like what makes a good song that you actually want to go back to is when artists have something unexpected in their production, or in their songwriting, or in the instruments and the arrangement that they're choosing. I think something fresh, like, you know, like a fresh vision makes a good song for me, because everything has been done already, you know, and now our mission is to, you know, like put the things together in a new creative way. So I'm always looking for something like this, you know, in music.
For sure. I mean, like the inspiration can be as you pick one from the fuse and the story, but yeah, always it's really good to have like the fresh looking for the idea and to put some your ideas into it again. Like that's amazing. Yeah, and what's your favorite song that you have produced?
That I've produced, I think it's My Pussy. I think it was like the first one I actually put out there, you know, and I think it definitely represents me as a producer, you know. Although it's like super old already, I always go back to it like from time to time and I listen to it, you know. It's like, oh wow, like it has a vibe, you know, and it's very unique in a way, breaking rules. Techno music, like I do that all the time, you know, but like I think like this is one of my best productions so far until this day.
Okay, what's the hardest thing about the music production in your opinion?
I think the translation of the idea into the DAW, you know. Even if you have like a good melody, sometimes you try to play it on the piano or like on your keyboard, you know, on your MIDI controller, you know, and then you're like, oh my god, that's such a cool vibe or like a cool melody, and then you listen to it and you're like, oh my god, like it's so terrible or like so basic, you know. Only because it's good in your head, it doesn't mean that it actually will be good when you play it or like produce it. But also, I think finding a balance between the elements of a track, you know, when you have like a busy track with many different elements, you know, to find the right balance that everything has its own place. So, yeah.
I want to ask you about the stuff in the music industry. So, if you could change one thing in the music industry, what would it be?
Like, I think it would be nice if people would start to listen to music again, you know, to listen to albums and start appreciating albums in their whole form again, you know, how it used to be. Because like the attention span of the millennials, you know, I'm also a millennial, but also a little weird generation after us, you know, is very small because, you know, like I cannot focus on anything anymore. But yeah, I actually, it would be so nice, you know, that actually young people would start to appreciate a whole concept in music, you know, not only like a track that is like 2 minutes 50 and then throw it away, you know, and then, you know, it's like a cheap thrill, you know. That would be nice, you know, like a renaissance of the good old days, you know, where an artist is able to record an album, like a whole thing, you know, and it's iconic, you know, and it's timeless, you know, and not only meant for like quick consumption.
I agree with you absolutely. I mean, because back in the time, yesterday or 2 days ago, I was listening some album from a band called Camp, and it's like it's a masterpiece. It's absolutely like perfect, like the production and every single
Send it to
song.
me.
It's yeah, I will. It's connected together. And I think Madonna did also album like that. I think Confession of the Dance Floor was like a one track, but
Yes.
whole album.
Yeah, it was mixed as one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I
true.
really appreciate it because it's a whole story. It's like every single song is like together, and actually I really appreciate the transitions between, because sometimes one track is I don't know, F major, and the another you have to do like change the key, you know, and to do the
Yeah,
transition,
yeah.
which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool because I'm DJ also, and I do transitions like a whole time, you know, and trying to
Yes.
mix the track together. So key is also important to me, and that's
Super
why
important, of course.
yeah, that's why I love to listen the album like a whole thing. But yeah, like as you said, young generation, it's really like everything is so fast, and everybody's like, okay, 30 seconds, and I will skip the track, you know. And the algorithms of the streaming platforms is also not really nice sometimes, and especially for artists like us or like underground scene. So for sure, I mean, I really wish that, but as I want to say, it's up to us, like maybe to share good music,
Yeah, it is.
you know, or to talk about the things like here in the podcast, and maybe someone will listen it and will like, oh,
Yeah, of
they
course.
are right, you know.
Of course. Definitely. I think like everyone probably is super open-minded without knowing it, you know, when it comes to something like this, you know. And I think like when artists begin to make music again, not only for profit but like also for the art, maybe will be like an awakening again. So yeah, let's wait for that. Let's see. You know, just like the vinyl, you know, the vinyl came back. It's like, so maybe maybe it will change. Would be nice.
I see the light.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah, again, the light is
it's
there.
very deep. Our talk is very deep today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And actually, do you have some advice to maybe young generation or young emerging producers, artists?
Well, yeah, don't quit. You know, I think like that's the thing. Like, be persistent and hardworking. You know, and it takes time. You know, you don't land a #1 hit in one night. You know, it doesn't happen. Maybe 1 in a million. You know, but like, yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. You know, talk to people, exchange information. You know, like work with people, start collaborations. It definitely brings you to the next level in a way. So yeah, just don't quit.
Actually, what is your big goal in your life?
I think like to be happy, you know, and to be able to create, you know, and live my life how it is right now, you know. So I'm already pretty happy. So yeah, keep it that way.
That's very nice. And the last question we are here is, what do you manifest in your life?
Let's say sex, power, and fame.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Slay.
That's it. Mic drop.
Yeah, amazing. In every way, on every word, you can find really good things to manifest, I think. So, yes, Kai.
Oh, that's it.
I'm so happy and glad that
Oh my
we
God,
did
yeah.
it. I mean, that's
We finally
amazing.
did it. Yeah, I'm so happy. It was so nice.
Yeah, me too. And it was really nice talking to you. And I just can't wait to see you like in live. And
Yes,
to
come
be on
over,
your
come over.
gig or whatever.
Of course, you're always invited.
Oh, thank you so much. So
Come over.
Yeah. So you were listening Thermostat Q with Amita and Skylon in this time, and see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye bye, guys.
I'm your little baby, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.